welcome to the Whiskey.com news on the 7th of April 2025. And we have a number of very interesting news, as you can maybe see with the color of my skin, that I was away for a few weeks. And I missed the last Whiskey.com news, but yeah, here I am, and now let's get into a bit of a longer episode. Glenmorangie does a relaunch, and they are relaunching the Lasanta. And it's nice. They are actually increasing the age from 12 to 15, and that's pretty much all they want to do. You can get the new one already at Whiskey.com if you live in the Netherlands or Belgium or Switzerland. Yeah, next up is the Glenfarclas Easter edition. Easter is up. I think is it 1 week or something, or less than a week already. And it's the vintage 2014-2025 from Glenfarclas, limited to 3,000 bottles, and you can already get them at Whiskey.com for all the countries we deliver to. Then we have Jim Beam. They're bringing in the Jim Beam Pineapple. It's a spirit drink. You already know them, Jim Beam Apple, Jim Beam Honey, and now we're having a pineapple with that. 32.5% ABV. Unfortunately, just US only now, but I think they will find their way into the international market. Then we had the news that Edrington wants to sell famous Grouse to William Grant and Sons, and they actually had to have an antitrust check, and now the antitrust check is through, and everything is okay, so the sell is going as planned. Highland Park, and they are opening up again. They actually were in shutdown for a year, or at least for visitors for a year, and they were modernizing the distillery and everything. And so now they're open up for visitors again, and they have a new target for 2023. They want to reduce emissions by 50%. Then we have Johnnie Walker Black Ruby coming to the international market. It was kind of a pilot project in 2024, and now it's part of the core range. And the main lead malt is from Ross Isle, and it was matured in red wine casks. And it is available at whiskey.com in the shop for Netherlands and Belgium. Then we have Wolfburn. The up north Scotch distillery is actually bringing out a Cognac cask single malt. 3,900 bottles, 46% ABV, and that's I would say a standard launch for Wolfburn, so it's reasonable available. Have a look at whiskey.com. They will be available for a few months, I think at least. Yeah. Then we have Glen Grant. They're bringing out a huge amount of money for a whiskey with $50,000 US, 65-year-old single malt, distilled 1958. Bottled in 151 bottles, and it's for the first bottling of a collection called the Splendors Collection. Actually, $50,000 US for such an old bottle is actually relatively cheap for such a high age. Other high age bottles are way more expensive. There might be a few ones who are cheaper, but not many. Then we have Benromach, and they are building the contrast range more and more. This time the contrast is the high enzyme 2012-2024. So it's a vintage one, and the high enzyme refers to a high enzyme barley. Means a lot of enzymes can split the starch very good into the maltose sugar, and that sugar can be fermented very good. So maybe a bit of more flavors because of that sweetness. 12 years of maturation in first fill bourbon barrels, 46% ABV, no chill filtration, no coloring, as we know from them, and available at whiskey.com. Then we have Kilchoman Portuguese Brandy Single Cask Edition. It's a whiskey.de exclusive, 17-month finish in Brandy cask, 54.6% ABV, as we know from Kilchoman, 50 ppm, no coloring, no chill filtration, and it's available at whiskey.com, and you will find it nowhere else. So have a look there if you live in the Netherlands or Belgium. And then another very high-priced bottle, the Bowmore ARC-54. It's the second and the last bottling of the ARC series in the joint venture with Aston Martin. and it has whiskey from 1968 in it, limited to 130 bottles, 44.3% ABV, and very highly priced. I don't know the price, so but expect 100,000 somewhere around there. Lomond Brewery. Lomond Brewery is actually opening the Levenbank Distillery in Dunbarton in the Lowlands. So yeah, Lomond is I think at the edge of the Highlands, Lowlands. So there's not much going on like Lowlands, Highlands. They actually have a new building next to the brewery. Probably they're going to use some brewing of the brewery, and the distillery will just do the distilling. The whiskey production has already begun, and they want to bring out their first whiskies in 2030. So about a 5-year-old. Dewar's double 21-old Magma Stone toasted. It's a finish in a cask that has been toasted by a lava stone. Magma stone from Iceland. How can you have a magma stone? I think magma is definition inside the earth, and if you take it out, it's lava. But anyway, that magma stone actually toasts the what you call it, the oak really good and really smoothly, and that brings out a really good flavor. 46% ABV. Next up is the Glenrothes, and they're presenting a 51-year-old whiskey. Yeah, well, a lot of old whiskeys coming out. It's their oldest whiskey up till now, and the Glenrothes, they are known for their bit of a. They have special packaging, but this time you have to actually break the packaging with a hammer, and it's limited to 100 bottles. It comes from 2 refill casks, 44.6% ABV, and that is probably not much of that whiskey will be enjoyed. It's with that hammer and breaking it. It's collector's edition probably. So Chivas Royal Salute bringing out their Rio de Janeiro Polo edition. It's the 7th edition, and it's part of their yearly Polo series. 21-year-old limited whiskey. Part of whiskey is Breval, and it has been filled in first fill casks. Yeah, nice thing. Then we're going to Ireland. Pernod Ricard is actually shutting down production at Midleton Distillery because of the turndown in the market. The Midleton Distillery is actually making a break from April till summer, whatever that means. The home of Jameson, Redbreast, Midleton, Very Rares, and Powers. This is actually official news. Unofficial news we have already heard from also Scotch distilleries that are turning down their production, or they are having a bit of a longer silent season and stuff. So yeah, the market is really turning down a little bit. Bushmills is bringing out their oldest Irish single malt to the world. 46-year-old Secret of River Bush. It was filled in 1978 into an Oloroso sherry butt, limited to 300 bottles, 46.3% ABV. Next up is something I didn't know. Jack Daniel's coming out with their yearly aged series. I don't know that they had aged series. I've never tried one, but I'm really excited to do so. We have the 10 and the 12 coming as a batch 3 and 4. And then we have 14 that comes out for the first time since 100 years to the market. The 14 and the 12 are going to the American market, unfortunately, just not to the international. And the 10-year-old will be internationally available. So hopefully that one bottle will come to my cask table here as well. Diageo is shutting down Bullite Distillery in Kentucky until summer. They have reached their production quota for the financial year. I don't know what their financial year is, but so they're shutting down until summer as well. So yeah, connect that with the Midleton and the unofficial shutting downs of Scotch whiskey distilleries, and yeah, there you have it. Next up is the USA with a Wild Turkey 101 8-year-old, and unfortunately that is just coming to the USA. So it's at least 8 years old, whereas the normal 101 is 6 to 8 years old. But hopefully they will bring it out to the international markets as well, because Wild Turkey 101 is really a good bottling. Yeah. International news for whiskey. Cavalon is actually bringing out their first whiskey with an age statement. I think the live tasting, like, I don't know, 3 or 4 weeks ago, we asked that question, and they're like, oh, I don't know, age statement is a bit hard. And now they're coming out with a 15-year-old single malt, matured in 4 cask bourbon, Oloroso sherry, ruby, port, and punch. Isn't that 5? Bourbon, Oloroso sherry, ruby port, and punch. Yeah, it's not ruby and port, but ruby port and punch. With 43% ABV and limited to 30,000 bottles, so it's quite a number, and that sounds really good. If the price is right, that 30,000 gonna sell very, very quickly. Diageo is wants to actually get out of some of their Distill Venture programs. They actually had a program, Distill Ventures. They spent $300 million into 35 founder-based spirit brands and distilleries and stuff, and amongst them was the Danish distillery called Stauning, and actually they want to get out, so they are holding 49% of the shares, and they want to get it out. So I don't know how that comes. If you have a lot of money and you want to invest into Stauning, you can buy 49% of their shares pretty much on the spot. Then we have a legal trade war. We do have some in the not whiskey news. There is a lot of trade war news, and I will not connect with that. But we have a trade war between, or not a trade war, a legal. It's not a battle. It's just, yeah. Anyway, I'll just stick to it. The rye whiskey is now illegal to be labeled on European bottles. It actually was illegal before that because they had a trade partnership with Canada, EU and Canada, from 2003, and EU had their champagne, their cognac, their ouzo protected, and Canada wanted to have their rye whiskey protected, but the EU pretty much didn't care and just didn't let it happen. And now the Canadians, probably with their new prime minister, a bit of a harsher tone, said, you have to do it. And now actually they are bringing it out. And for example, in Finland, you're not allowed to write rye and whiskey on the label, and in Denmark you're not allowed to write rye anywhere. So I guess probably the most of the the production in Europe, they're just gonna write their own word for it, Roggen, or I don't know, the Danish or Finnish word for rye. So there's gonna be no rye whiskey coming from Europe anymore because of that trade partnership with Canada. A little bit of a smaller trade war. So that was quite a long news because I missed one. And thank you very much for watching, and see you next time.